No, no, no. We didn't buy the $300 mics. We bought like the $200 mics. Thank you, Twitch, for your mobile live dashboard. Me.
What do you think of OpenAI's Dotabot?
It was a great thing at TI.
It was intense. Wait, did you watch it live? So you know about it.
Yeah, Dendy got crushed.
Yeah, Dandy. Good luck, Dandy. So what were the other players' scores? 10-0? 10-0?
No, there were a few people who beat it.
Yeah. There was one person who beat it once.
I think the sound balance is a little better.
This is max volume, maxed out.
Let's actually turn on some game audio in theory.
Yeah, we should probably test that with actual explosions and everything.
I think I need to turn up the game volume, actually. Oh, no, that's all the way up. Well, son of a gun.
Is there a custom volume on the soundboard or in the software?
So I can use the soundboard to adjust our microphone levels. I can't use it to adjust the game level. That would sort of be the ideal. But one thing to note, because I've turned up the gain, basically anything we say is going to get captured in some way. Oh God, I'm echoing on like 3 things.
Let's see if I open up some random person's stream.
Hello. Good, how are you?
See, this is so much louder.
Yeah, that's something I'm not... Oh, wait, I might be able to troubleshoot some of this.
Don't touch another man's phone. Ugh. I feel dirty saying that. But yeah, I'll do some testing here for the audio. Hopefully, wait, are you actually listening to the audio? I think the voice is fine. I don't know about the Overwatch volume.
It's a perfect game.
The loudest kick.
Double kill.
But yeah, Joker just fell off of the wall. Can respawn in about 10 seconds. The boss did all die, which is that where he has that going for him. And he goes back to the whole
Double
he significantly changed his playstyle. A lot of people still getting used to it.
Stop me if you've heard this one before.
Hello? Testing? Alright, now that the mic volume is down, we're gonna try what happens when Junkrat throws a bunch of explosives and see what happens.
Right on target. Double kill.
Should it be adjusted a little bit more, do you think?
Maybe a slightly lower. The Junkrat throws bomb, gets that training bot, and the second training bot. Out comes the Riptire, and finds almost a double kill. The other training bot almost dead, trying to track him down.
Yoink. Well,
Try by 100%, actually by a infinite quantity. Because when you divide by 0, shit happens.
Wait, I got it. Where are you? There you go.
Are we going to be able to hear each other?
we'll see.
It's going to be noisy.
Hey, I'm trying to get us some people.
Should put an overlay called like pregame show.
I don't know how to make overlays. I don't know how to use overlays. That is something that I need. If anyone knows how to do Twitch overlays, please teach me.
Oh, second monitor would be
Right?
we can add a scene.
If I don't pay attention, guys.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, so when you log in, I'll go.
I think what you can do is, let's say, PowerPoint.
Oh, it's Genji. Quick, run away.
Insert.
No, screw Genji. Screw Genji.
Stream. Starting soon. Something lame like this. And then what I can do now is add a source.
Probably a window capture.
Window capture, yeah. This is PBT. You alright?
Or 8, 9, 10.
Yeah. Wait, what? What? Why isn't the stream will be starting soon showing up on here? Excuse me? Excuse me?
Overlays, man. I don't get them. Yeah, let's not worry about it
Yeah.
right now.
We can figure out later. Don't save. Back to Overwatch.
Ding.
If you look at Hans' arrow terrible, and it just glitches back to the start of the animation. I don't know if they fixed it or not. They probably did, because it was pretty glaring. Yeah, they fixed it.
Going up and down in predictable patterns.
Do you have to right click with me to kill those?
Icicle, yeah.
Okay.
Icicle's a pretty long range projectile, so it does have some fall off, but deals 120 on a headshot. So
That's great.
150.
And she has
You can
what,
one shot the
200?
tracer.
at close range, I think. At long range, it is. Yeah. Actually,
I love the aiming tracers.
you can do it in Overwatch.
Oh,
You
I love
can't
the
change it in native settings on the
Heat
desktop.
tracers with
If you bring your own mouse,
I can play characters that just like if I with the tracer, if I can get away with the tracer, I have a chance. But it really depends if I see the tracer first before the tracer sees me. And if I orbit tracer, the tracer knows that Ziv is close, but it's now on a mission trying to find me.
no charging.
So for this, I'll probably be a little bit more focused on trying to get the camera work done. So I'm gonna ask you to talk more.
Oh.
There it is, 150.
It is 120 long range.
Yep. Which is not bad also.
I've never commentated before. I just kind of stumbled all over my work.
Now arriving at
That's fine. We all learn.
Wow, thanks. The pressure, man. Oh, are we starting? 6 Annas versus a Mei, a Genji, and a Zenyatta. No tanks here, which is an interesting choice. Although 6 Anna is, of course, an unconventional team composition. We have here all of them trying to kill each other on the main
Enemy
point,
contact.
although this is waiting for other players, so there is no point to capture.
freeze! Don't move!
Now the real question is, can I find a way to make this
What's the method
actual
right now is,
camera
of
move
course, 6
faster?
Junkrats, because now you can have 12 concussion mines.
That sounds way more fun than it has any right to be. Of course, this being headshot practice, the opponent Annas cannot actually get headshots. So good luck to them.
I believe this training strategy actually was popularized by the YouTube Overwatch gamer Styrosa from the channel Unit Lost. He posted this as McCree practice, and I guess all of the pro players, or I actually don't know which one originated first, but everybody seems to be doing this training practice.
Why do you think everyone's doing this particular training routine?
I think it's kind of the boot camp or the very intensive training where you are forced to be extremely precise. There is of course the danger that you become over accustomed to this, and in a real game you're too focused or too used to going for a headshot that sometimes body shots would be more effective. For example, if you're using Tracer, trying to kill a Roadhog, but then again you're fighting Annos right over here. Might just be warming up, getting accustomed to the mice, especially since it's 10 in the morning, you just woke up. Really getting back into the game and really getting used to the movement of the cursors, movement of the heroes, really helps with getting used to Overwatch again if you haven't played for a while.
Now, it's also my understanding that Anna has the smallest headshot hitbox.
I'm
Is that
not
true?
quite sure if that is true. I don't know if Blizzard has different headshot hitboxes, because I would imagine Tracer will have a pretty small one too, since she has the lowest health in all of the character roster. And of course it's a support, small build, but other players, maybe Diva, small out of mech Diva will have also small hitbox. I actually don't know about this one, but I don't think would be too much of a significance.
I mean, even if Diva out of mech has a smaller hitbox, I'm not sure you can just load in out of mech Divas. So if you want to do a practice on a small target as possible, Ana might be the easiest one to get.
Yeah, I had thought about an alternative to this rather than 6 Annas. Since this is a custom game, you can actually turn down the enemy damage outputs and increase your own health and defense and have a bunch of tracers. Because tracers do move faster, they do have blink, it's a more intensive training and warm-up. But I'm surprised I haven't seen that around.
Oh, fascinating. Maybe we can convince our team to try that. So asking the team, why do you guys train on Annas and not on another hero?
The enemy is here.
Down.
Yeah, if I was thinking of the
Down. Down.
At that point, I would think that the particular idiosyncrasies of the bot's programming might come to the fore more, and it almost might be less representative. Because the honors are just most which is not something to find enough people who can outstanding players. But we could certainly try.
Yeah, we would like to know your thoughts, see what happens. Maybe we'll catch on. Maybe this will be, the IU training. The IU warm-up.
Enemies here.
Enemy
It
in my
is
sight.
rather amusing to watch 6 Annas trying to kill 3 heroes that are just standing there, and Ana is failing miserably at her job. Just miserably fail. Although, truth be told, not nearly as much of a miserable fail as I was as Junkrat in the practice range and launched myself off the stage. That was good.
To be fair, you don't play Junkrat a lot.
I don't play Overwatch a lot. When I do play Overwatch, I play Junkrat.
Don't you play Diva?
Junkrat, Diva, Bastion, Torbjorn.
Enemy contact.
Kind of in that order, too.
For anybody watching, which is nobody, the reason why Mei and Zenyatta is not really moving right now is we're getting ready to start the official practice. We're trying to get everybody together, gather as they finish up their individual quick play matches. Oh, and they're back trying to run around. Trying to pick up the Annas. This just feels like a very sadistic game of, playing God and just have all of them run into a pit.
Now, if only we had the hand from Black and White where we could actually just pick up the Ana and move them around. That'd be cool. All right, and now we are trying to figure out which game we're going to go into. As soon as I have an answer to that, we will jump in. I wasn't going to make a comment along those lines. I will admit that it went through my head.
Outline skill rating.
Oh, look, we don't need to wait in.
So you've always played on PS4? It's gonna be a different world.
Keyboard and mouse is much more responsive than the controller.
Eyes are very low sensitivity.
so you can flail around appropriately.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. You're available. Let me.
I can't wait to hear Steven do his thing. Hi, my name is Steven, and I'm glad to be here too.
I guess I'm kind of, well, I was fixed for most of it, but then I started to specialize later.
Sure.
And it was just like, okay, well, has to, and I also love to dance.
That's fine. We're all.
I pretty much just play with one.
Hey, guess what I just learned about spectating in Overwatch? If you're actually spectating, you can hit left shift and move faster.
Yeah.
That's really good to know.
Run as it goes. Or float fast.
Maybe it helps if you actually go into the settings and look at what the settings are.
Yeah, it goes all zoom with the scroll wheel.
I was trying that earlier and it wasn't doing it. Which does mean that I'll be basically holding down left shift for the entirety of the match because I like to move faster than a snail.
I guess for team fights, when everything's on a capturing point, you can go slower to kind of pan around.
Yeah. That makes sense.
There's also apparently static cameras that I can find. There are static cameras. I don't know where they're placed. So I guess I can find out where they are.
My friends mocked me one time because after I did my form, I apparently, I bowed off and then I walked, but the way I walked off the map was like with the sway. So I was this way. I didn't know, like, I was in my own head.
Not even with a swagger, with a sway?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm curious. Meriden, how did they teach you? It's called a hammer fist. How did they teach you it? What's the version you know? I'm really curious.
Depends on how you start.
And any starting point.
I mean-
what do you want to do in practice?
I mean, it depends. If they want us to do like static, then we just have to do that. And if they want us to like start off, then they do.
Because at USC they teach it starting out like this,
Really?
and then in my traditional school you actually start off at a horse dance.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it's like wow, this is.
No, yeah. Generally they'll have us start off like this, and then maybe
Yeah, because I haven't found anybody in the States who start off as a horse dance.
I mean,
Which is pretty insane.
And so most of the people on the Overwatch are actually support
but yeah.
which is fun.
What's the movement you hate the most?
The movement I hate the most.
Like find most difficult.
It's not that I hate it. It's just that I need to build up the muscle to make it look good. As the empty stance.
Oh.
Every time, because generally it's at the end of a combo.
You're super tired.
Yeah, and I'm like super tired, and then you're telling me, oh yeah, have like a squat. Yeah, have one leg, kinda. You see, I couldn't. Right, because all his weight is on his.
No.
It's on your right.
A lot of people who started like.
Yeah, like I'll be so tired. Okay, and empty set.
No, can we not? This is not fun. And
You
also,
would always have us end with an empty or something that just have us like balancing on one leg. And it's like, okay, can I be over? But every time they said it was break, I would run out the room. Say, okay, it's break. Boom, first one, because I need to beat everyone to the water.
That's like me in 501.
Okay, break time. Boom, boom. Oh no, trust me, I was in. That was me for my advanced sim class with me. As soon as like he was like, "Is it time for break?" I'll just go and walk. Like, don't suggest break because once I hear that word, I'm gone.
Pavlovianly trained.
we're missing? I mean, for total.
Oh, I mean, we're not gonna although based on our roster, it's interesting. All right. Well,
Is teabagging allowed here?
Do intros real quick, just so I know everyone here. I'm Nick.
Lucas.
I'm Steven.
Siobhan.
Alex.
I'm Everett.
Patrick. I'm Mitch. Trey.
Blake.
Nice to meet you all.
Might we also want to throw out our actual screen names because those don't match what people just said.
Derpolis.
I'm Ravlin, but I'm not in the game right now.
I'm Klenoic, but I'm not playing.
Jay Stoney.
Northam.
Green Mage.
Pachisel. Smelly toes. Budget cuts.
Oh, right.
All right. So teabagging is frowned upon.
What is wrong with you?
So this is the first time this group has gotten together as a full group, so we just went around and did some introductions, both real names and screen names, because as it happens, those don't match. So figuring out who is kind of nice. So as a way to get to know each other, we're going to do it in the most intimate way possible, a complete free-for-all deathmatch.
Deathmatch is a relatively new game mode here. Just came out the last patch, which means basically it's a traditional everybody kills everybody. Respawn rates are fast, and default is first to 25 wins under the time limit, which is 10 minutes. Here we have Smelly Toes and Jay Stoney. Orisa putting down the shield, but remember there are turrets and Symmetra does have higher mobility, but Symmetra does go down. Eyeball joining the fray on the high ground, can look at everybody. Genji can climb up walls and gets hacked. Lower health for the Genji. Eyeball trying to finish him off with a dash, but oh, not much.
Oh, Derpolis does manage to get away for a hot second until North End takes out 2 with the concussion grenade. Awesome.
Now, in a game we played with each other 2 nights ago, North End did destroy all of the players that were playing. This was including 4 other players. So it will be interesting to see how he fares well, especially when he's playing a Junkrat, which I did not see him for last time. Orisa here, trying to find the action. Oh, sees the... Can't remember.
Sombra? I think you're going for a Sombra there.
Yeah.
And now, of course, Orisa is kind of hanging out on her own. Oh, does manage to get someone with the... get a good assist with that the mini black hole there, but, then doesn't do so well because Reaper happened to her.
Now, Lucas, I actually don't know if assists count toward your score, or do you have to get a last hit?
You have to get the last hit, but the assists are tracked. So, as an example, Smelly Toes has 4 assists, but unfortunately only has 2 eliminations, and that's what counts.
I would imagine it's all of the turrets doing work, a little bit of poking, a little bit of slowing down, while other people finish the heroes off. And Diva, which is Klenoic right now, which is an interesting pick because she does have 2 lives and can run away quite quickly, and it'll be interesting to see how Diva fares well in this game mode.
I don't think her mech counts as an elimination, although I'm not sure. I would have to notice specifically. Oh, and
Sombra also has quite the advantage in that match, but of course against the Symmetra, gets destroyed. Since she can see through walls, she can hunt down low health enemies and try to get those last hits faster than everybody else. And remember, for team deathmatch, well, or deathmatch in general, you can switch heroes after you die, which is, part of the Overwatch philosophy.
Play what you enjoy playing. And it looks like there goes a Symmetra wandering around once again. Oh, ooh, boop.
Now the Parrot decides not to go for the shield generator, which is interesting. And I also remember, if I remember correctly, or at least that was the feeling when I was playing, that you do get ults faster. So destroying Symmetra's teleporter, she can just get it back pretty quickly.
I do enjoy how Budget Cuts was going in on North End there, but then decided to just nope the hell out.
Riptire comes out, searching for enemies. Remember, Riptire flies really quickly, finds the Pharaoh, and gets a single kill.
That might be the first time I've ever seen a Riptire kill a Pharah, because generally Pharah is far too high in the air for that to actually do anything.
Well, actually, with the new Riptire mechanics, the Riptire can jump up and wall climb very quickly, get a lot of height, and possibly kill Pharaohs now. But I have heard that Blizzard is planning to patch that.
And there goes Orisa finding the shield generator.
making work, and down goes the shield generator. Symmetra having to rebuild, but remember, it
Oh,
doesn't take
whoa,
that long.
that's much better. Hey, look, if I remember the actual thing, I can move around.
Death it comes out, but only gets 1 kill and gets shut down by the Orisa with the damage boost there. But Orisa, of course, dies and falls off the edge. Everybody around each other. Genji finding the Diva, trying to hunt her down, and the Reaper comes up behind, but of course Reaper does not have any vertical movement except for his teleport. The Symmetra and the Pharah. Symmetra wins that round. Sombra comes out. Oh, and everybody is just having a bunch of fun here.
And of course, that is one of the weaknesses of the Reaper ult. He was able to jump in and get an elimination, but then he was immediately eliminated himself. In competitive matches, that's a little less important, because if you can jump in and get an important pick, the rest of your team can follow up. But in a solo deathmatch mode, that's suddenly a lot more of a liability.
Now this is interesting because when Deathmatch came out, I was actually quite surprised Blizzard went through with this game mode, because Overwatch is a team-based game. Reaper's ulti by himself is very, very vulnerable. Usually it will be in conjunction with an Ana boost or a Lucio ult. So having players use their ultimates on their own with no support is a very interesting game mode here to watch.
I will say that was a very amusing Riptire to watch. It sort of circled the little plaza here like 4 times before it actually blew up.
Budget Cuts as Reaper still in the lead here. Junkrat's walking around trying to find people to kill.
Where is Budget Cuts? There we go. There's Budget Cuts in the lead. Just trying to follow the person who's in the lead for the moment. Budget Cuts is at 15 eliminations, although the North End is coming up pretty closely behind at 11.
Oh, Reaper here against Junkrat. Reaper is closer to the health pack, but of course needs to figure out and dodge the jumping mines, and decides to run away and leave the Junkrat alone, trying to look for another target.
And one thing to note, while our leader is at 15 eliminations, we've got 2 people tied at 12, 1 at 11, and 2 at 9. So it is, I say 2 at 9, one of them is now at 10. It is getting fairly close. It is not a complete shutout one way or the other.
Though Reaper just got a double kill with his ult, the turret room with the shield gen. Junkrat deciding not to have any of that, but decides to go for the more important kills. Oh, and gets shut down by the Reaper. The Reaper does have an advantage here in close spaces, though it's still alive, and oh, it does get shut down by the Symmetra. Smelly Toes coming back up in 2nd place, 13 versus 18.
And then immediately dying. Because, that seems to be how this mode goes.
Now, a lot of these players are still getting used to these new equipment, the 144 Hz. Perhaps the mice and the keyboards are different, so it does take a while to get accustomed to the new equipment, and moving around and fighting does feel a bit funky with equipment you're not used to.
And I do believe at least one of our players is coming from PlayStation, so a console-based version of Overwatch instead of a PC-based, which does allow for more, I believe the PC-based allows for more fine control with mouse and keyboard than actual controller-based controls.
Sombra here up on high ground, trying to hunt down Budget Cuts, but decides he needs to get out, get a health pack, and get back out. Junkrat looking up high at the Pharah, realizing he can't do much unless he double mind jumps, but even though probably still far away. The match just ends with
Budget Cuts getting that final elimination. I did try to switch over to him when he was at 19, but with a play of the game from Smelly Toes as Symmetra.
Now, Symmetra is a pretty interesting pick on this map. Can put a lot of turrets, maybe catch a few stragglers, trying to find health packs. In close spaces with the death rate is very, very effective, especially when you have a Junkrat trap to assist you. And oh, the ending screen of a Reaper Pumpkin. Next match is Oasis Gardens, which once again has quite a few enclosed spaces. Deathmatch does start off pretty quickly, as once you choose a hero, you can pretty much get into the map right away. Looking around here, we don't see any heroes spawned in yet. There is a short hero pick time. Usually for these death matches, people run to the control point, which is where most of the action happens. But of course, they can decide to run around in the peripherals, trying to hunt down lone stragglers or people who just spawned in. The action has started. It looks like there's a McCree for Budget Cuts this time, getting the first kill here, as also Genji and Lucio. There is a Lucio here, which, since you can boot people off, might be a very effective strategy. Budget Cuts trying to get back into first place with Smelly Toes. Oh, now tied at 2.
Ahorita regreso.
Budget Cuts manages to get a third kill. Let's see if Solana gets taken down by Derpolis there. Turns out a Genji to the back of the head is usually deadly.
Junker here trying to find other people. Derpolis finding the low health McCree. Can he hunt them down? No, there's a McCree versus McCree now. Patchy and
And
Budget
here we
Cuts.
see a Sombra coming up from behind on that McCree and is able to take him out on her own. Once again, as it turns out, some of these flanking heroes, if they get behind you, they will just end you.
Sombra having the advantage with the wall hacks with low health enemies, but does not see the Reaper coming up. Cannot see any flankers with that
Back into
vision.
the mix.
Patchy probably looking for a new hero, but just spawned in. Diva, once again, interesting pick. Will be interesting to see how he does. Derpolis now switched to Genji, is now leading with 4 kills. Of course, Genji will be interesting because his dash, with his dash cancel, if he finds a team fight, or not exact team fight, but a cluster fight, will be able to cut down a lot of those enemies really quickly. Budget Cuts coming back up with McCree. Oh, and shuts down Genji. Now 6 on top.
Yeah, that flash grenade was able to do quite a bit of work there and prevent that Genji from reflecting his shots. And,
Oh, the boop from Lucio. Once again, this is a map for Lucio to do a lot of booping on the peripherals. As other players, you might want to stay near the center, keep away from the edges in case Lucio wall rides in and boops you off.
you know, we switched over to the Diva just in time to see her mech go down, but then she immediately takes down the person who takes her mech out. So that's some sweet revenge from the Diva. And gets another kill onto Budget Cuts as well, but is not able to get her mech back.
Apagando las luces.
Oh, 3 people here, kind of looking around each other, not sure what's happening right now as the Junker just stays still, gets hit in the back, and gets destroyed by the Reaper, who came out mercilessly, just shutting down the life of Junkrats. Missed the trap there. Vera, an interesting choice here. The ult does come out. Can she get away in time? Just in time. 18 health left. Can't see the large health pack. Can live for another day.
Farah has the same advantage that Lucio has in that she is able to knock people off this stage. So hopefully we'll be able to see a little bit of that to our advantage.
Budget Cuts now at 10. Who is in second place right now?
Second place is Green Mage on the Diva with 8 eliminations, followed by Smelly Toes, Derpolis, and North End with 7, 5, and 4.
Budget Cuts having a comfortable lead, but then again, has to find those people to kill. Clonoic still getting accustomed, transitioning from PS4 to PC. Once again, a very big transition. Very awkward to play with in the beginning. High Noon comes out. Can he increase his lead? Is this the Reaper gets 1 kill? Though I'm not sure if it was from the High Noon or if it was the other McCree coming in. In close spaces, 4 Reaper has the ult ready. Will he use the ult right next to Orisa? Decides not to and rage form. And nope, decides it doesn't need it, but gets shut down by the Junkrat.
This Orisa Reaper matchup is one for the ages. I believe last week this final score ended up being something like 6-6 on killing each other in Orisa versus Reaper matchups. I believe it's just something that they enjoy going after each other with. Let's see if we can find that Riptire. That Riptire is already gone.
Finds Genji there. Butchka still up in the lead by 13. Oh, and a punch to the death by Smelly Toes on Orisa. Very
just a nice little love tap there.
Don't see that often since Orisa does have a lot of health.
Oh, let's see. It looks like Genji's got his ult ready and sparring with an Orisa and losing, unfortunately. Let's see, Budget Cuts here on the McCree.
McCree, who is the better McCree? The flashbang does come out good, but does need to reload, and the Genji comes in to kill both of them with the sword.
That's the great part about Deathmatch here. It doesn't matter how much damage you do, the only hit point that matters is the last one.
Now looking for some revenge, the McCree does find a Genji again. Genji just 1 shot away from death. Can't really land the hits as McCree. Diva comes out, disrupts McCree's focus, decides to, and cannot out-damage the tanky Diva. Clonoic, just living, but does get shut down by Patchy.
By Patches, so, you know, manages to get the kill away from the Symmetra, but unfortunately hands it to a McCree instead. Here we've got a Symmetra. Let's see if we can see a microwave kill.
Symmetra
Patches.
does
Oh,
have
not
the-
quite, but gets
oh.
taken out.
Symmetra did have the shield generator, so she can survive a flashbang and a headshot, and would have been able to pick that McCree off, but the high noon front of back was not in Symmetra's favor.
Lucio manages to get the last hit onto a Genji. Just one of those things when they've got 3 or 4 health points left. Any random shot from any random hero can take them out.
Now Lucio having a low DPS is at 11 doing pretty well. I'm pretty surprised to see Lucio do well in deathmatch. Orisa trying to find people to kill.
There we go. I'm trying to head over to Budget Cut since he's at 18 now. See if we can catch the last couple of eliminations. Oh, Orisa manages to get almost out of there. That front roll from the McCree manages to secure that last hit, and then just a clean shot from Budget Cuts. Gets the final elim.
Budget Cut gets the victory again. Tail the game as McCree. You see, coming down a Genji. Oh, doesn't actually get a Genji, but does get a Sombra. It's flanked. And a green kill.
Welcome to Hollywood.
And we will follow whichever team we manage to jump in with. Yeah, it turns out play-by-play casting of a game as fast as Overwatch is a rather exhausting endeavor.
Your safety is my
This
primary
deathmatch
concern.
especially because there's no downtime as the heroes respawn and group up. Deathmatch just non-stop action from beginning to end. Luckily we do have 2 casters who can switch on and off between these jobs, so it will make things a bit easier for the both of us.
I do think that an Orisa versus a Hammer is going to come out on the favor of the Hammer, although maybe not. Turns out that Reinhardt's getting a little distracted by a few too many people, but does manage to get someone by pinning them to the wall, but unfortunately gets taken down by that Orisa. Apparently someone is on a Battle Mercy and just got a kill onto Green Mage. Not sure quite how that happened. I don't think we have the new Mercy ultimate yet, do we? Which does mean that in this mode, Mercy's ultimate will be absolutely useless.
But once again, Mercy does have a quick health regen with 1 second out of combat. Can run away, regen, and jump back into the fight quite quickly. Remember, Mercy does have quite a high DPS if she can land all those shots, especially when there's a Diva and a Reinhardt and a Orisa on the field can get a lot of DPS. And of course, building an ult does nothing. So we're interested to see what she does here.
And
There is a Widow that I haven't seen around yet. Widow just picking people off left and right. Eyeball taking the lead. Nobody really shutting down Eyeball on the uppercut, but does find Mercy. Oh, the classic girl-on-girl fight. Oh. Oh, we only have 1 streamer, so 1 watcher, so it stays within a room. Wait, this is saved for all eternity, isn't it?
Yes, this is, and some of the Overwatch teams here do use these videos to go back and figure out what they were doing and get another perspective on it and try to improve their play. So just keep that in mind.
Would have decided to go back to load up for the health pack. Junkrat does have ult up. There is quite a few. Oh no, but the Reinhardt does chase him down. Oh, decides to get a full blow of the death bombs back into Budget Cuts.
Love it when that happens.
And let's see if Patches decides to use this Riptire from a relatively safe point inside of a building here. Let's see what this Riptire can manage to get done. Goes through and...
Orisa does have the damage cut there with the fortified, does not go down, but Junkrat does know where he is now.
Budget Cuts does go down. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but unfortunately for Smelly Toes on the Mercy, even though it said that he got the elimination actually went to Eyeball on the Widowmaker. Smelly Toes still here with that res. Are you going to trigger the res, Smelly Toes?
I understand.
I'm going to gather the complete silence in response to me as a no. Okay, no, he is waiting for the right moment to fire off that res to make sure that he is able to get full value out of it. Although he's not quite doing the typical Mercy thing of, hey, I've got my ult ready, I'm going to go hide in the corner and wait for you all to die.
Widowmaker just, gets shut down there, but was ignored for quite a bit by the Pharah and the Mercy, as Mercy could not see her up on the roof there. And the Deathbox again, catching another victim.
It feels like these melee heroes maybe might not want to go after the Junkrat, because the Junkrat can just kill them in revenge at the end.
Halt!
We'll note that in first place with 9 eliminations is North End, but 5th place is at 7 and 6th place is at 7. So we're really getting much closer as people sort of get more accustomed to, you know, warmed up and, you know, trying some new strategies out.
Shield comes down, Genji enters. The Mercy does not go down just yet. Oh, the Mercy actually gets the Genji probably by a couple of headshots there. Mercy does get away and gets another kill on Clinoid as Junkrat, but does get shut down by North End. Decided to end that right then and there.
And unfortunately, Orisa completely missed the fact that she was taking Pharah rockets to the back of her head. Otherwise, she might have been able to do something about that.
The Doofus just jumps in, aiming for Orisa, ends up getting the Mercy and deleting her right off the map. The Orisa now still at half health, can do pretty well against the Doomfists. The Junkrat jumps in, everything becomes messy, no ults come down, and it looks like the Reinhardt will get a kill, and it will be Orisa. Oh no, the Junkrat comes in, the Junkrat gets 2 kills. Remember, Junkrat holds on to 2 mines now. Can get both kills very, very quickly.
Let's see if we can find theirs, Patches. Unfortunately, in every game that we load in for this, the hotkeys for which player changes, which is awesome. And by awesome, I mean awful.
Junkrat close range with a lot of shield in the way, but can go down a lot of damage, but now out in the open, very low health, gets shut down by the Doomfists. Comes back, looking for the action again. There's 2 Junkrats on the map, which I did not notice. Mercy on the high ground, trying to stay away from the Reinhardt, otherwise is in for a bad day.
And still holding on to that ult.
Still has the res. Interesting that Mercy decides to hold on to the res for so long. The Genji running away with just barely enough health to get by. 10 health, looking for the health pack right behind.
Eyes on that health pack, will he make it?
Nobody. A double kill by Clinoid from... Double kill from the Junkrat, and then the Genji goes down. Spawny Toes gets a kill on the Reinhardt, which probably is from long range. Doomfist jumping out, trying to find some action. Finds the Junkrat, but Junkrat was already dead from the Pharah up in the sky. Then again, nobody in this roster can shut down the Pharah. No hit scan at all. Pharah kind of going unchecked for quite a bit, but Pharah is not in the lead. Needs to figure out how to cancel these heroes. IU does switch to Hanzo, which may be able to counter the Pharah and quite a few other heroes, especially Junkrat and Reinhardt.
We are keeping our eyes on North End as he is at 18 eliminations, just needs 2 more. Patches is right behind him at 17. And North End's now at 19 with that Meteor Fist, but does avoid the Hanzo ult. There is a Riptire coming through, but Eibel does take out North End. We've now got first at 19, second at 18, so we're going to stick on North End, see if we can catch that last elimination. Hopefully that'll happen, or we'll be able to follow up onto Patches.
The hammer down. Oh, and the game ends. Hammer down did not destroy Doomfist in time to shut down his kill streak. North End winning the game and the play of the game as Doomfist.
Meteor strike.
As Doomfist proves, occasionally just smacking people in the face works pretty well. All right, we're going to take a couple of minutes while people get split up into team comps, and once the first one is ready, we will jump in and get an observation on that.
God, I don't think
You don't know the game of lobby is like the best game.
Yeah, just try to leave your way out of that.
And of course, now we're trying to leave the lobby. There we go. It's actually leaving.
Okay.
Lobby is like the best game ever.
Yeah, just try to.
Now, if it could actually let me hit social, that would be great. Unfortunately, due to the text on the side of the screen.
You guys might want to manually
And of course, I still can't click social. This is
What is? Use arrow keys and enter. What? Oh, spacebar.
there we go. Arrow keys and spacebar will allow you to do that.
All right, so group of 6, group of 3.
Yeah, me too. Who all's in the group 3 and group 6?
So the group of 6 will be us here, the group of 3 will be Trey and Ursula.
So it's just a bunch of support mains that are rotating.
Sorry about
Because it's just a bunch of support mains.
I mean, I can do this, whatever. And Jay's been playing a pretty decent. May you succeed. Like I can't. You shield dance so well, but like a Reaper Orisa matchup for me is even with you because you just
mean-
dance all around.
Lucas makes a great point. When I see your Reaper, there's like something.
Something
like
primal.
Yeah, like there's just like shield. Let's do this.
Yeah, no, it's and you fortify at the right time. It's great. Yeah.
Oh, you're not gonna have free camera now.
Honestly, when
No, we're only going to have over the
that
shoulder
is
camera. I typically do it over the tank or a support because they're a little less all over the place and tend to have a better view of the field.
I'm doing better shield dance while it's December. With Reaper. Different.
Oh, if I get the invite on that one, do you wanna?
Well, I just denied because he was like out.
Oh no, it's still ours. It's ours.
Grading right now. It's like it's actually kind of hard not to be a negative thing because I don't know. And so when they
He's just feeding me.
well, you just didn't do a thing. Right. I guess you get a D now. That's your life. Pretty much.
This to yourself.
I'm not here to judge, really. It's like a million ways for me to like imitate anything like paint like that. So I have to drop a load and it's
Are we talking about grading undergrads?
correct.
Oh gosh, I have to do grading this weekend.
I don't.
I did all of mine in an hour. 50 assignments. I'm getting really big on myself.
I got mini math.
Every week it's like scam, nothing.
It's so great. Like when I leave class and when people turn in their assignments,
Yeah.
because they turn to the front, and then the math student just takes them all and like, "Have a good weekend," and I just walk out the room. It's so great.
For Nathan's pod, it's
But trust me, it was just random for this semester all last
very
year.
little expected of them.
It was in everything.
They're not asked why or how, just what. So it's like, okay, they did it or they didn't. This is your class, man. I'm not here to.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
He does
Okay.
kind of you have to leave again, you know.
it makes my life.
Yeah.
And Eden had like a 2.5 hour long grading meeting with us.
Why? Why?
To make sure we're all on the same page.
How many students are there?
100.
Okay.
There were also like master students who hadn't graded. Yeah, we have 2 graders who've never graded anything before in their life. So luckily for them, then for us.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I'm a class of 50, but I just grade all of one assignment, so it's like I'm learning myself.
Right, right. It's
Eh?
totally new to just here when you're like 4 different people at the on the same page.
Yeah, no, I understand.
The assignment I'm grading right now, it's for math class. You should have just look at numbers, and then
You need to get my
translate
phone.
logical statements to English,
I'll wait
and
until
then like translate it to
couple of
the
days
indication.
to get
Right.
The short amount,
Actually,
you
mean
know,
like
times just.
the exact
Yeah, I
words.
really need
And
to
sometimes it can be
done.
either exist or it's some or it's so painful.
I think you get a lot of routing.
I should be able to.
one of them was like true or false. All penguins can fly. Here's the number of fly. Number of penguins or cubes or ostriches. No, not penguin. Any play this bird at all? Or Stitch? Was it? No, it's not Stitch.
All right, ready to go?
Oh yeah, you guys should have played.
Thing called that.
No, wait.
Oh, Snipe. Snipes.
Snipes.
Good.
All right, so Derpulus is going to be on Genji.
All right, so as soon as they're out of skirmish and into an actual game, we'll be able to jump in and observe. Unfortunately, we can't observe skirmishing unless that has changed in the last week, and it has not changed in the last week.
I can't be creative here. Make yourself pretty easy. I know. That's the problem.
David, wait. David Kempe?
That's my husband.
They are my professors. I'm like, is either your husband or my professor is really good friends with you?
No. My husband's just. My husband's also 30. He's not old enough to be a professor, really.
Well, no, David's about
Yeah.
late 30ish. He's pretty young.
Yeah, but
Oh, that's weird seeing David Kempe on Overwatch instead of.
Although it's funny that that name is no longer accurate because his last name's now hyphenated. So
Yeah. I'm tempted to take a picture, send it to my parents. Like, you play games? I'll block on the screen.
alright, bye. I know, I should have let you tell him.
Estimated time for finding a quick play match is unknown, so we'll be here for an undetermined amount of time.
I mean, those estimates are at best a pure shot in the dark. And I think with a six stack with fairly wide range of skills, that it might be hard for the matchmaking algorithm to actually find a group.
A lot. Yeah. So I haven't played any PC shooting games. It's like this keyboard and like, well, tough.
I suppose you can always like just get an Xbox 360 controller, bring it in, and plug it into the computer and play on a controller.
Is that a rubber
He's good. No.
But there's no, the
gotta download drivers.
scrolling is different, and there's no.
Yeah, but if you do
Aim assist works
the
also.
360 controllers, because it's a Microsoft product, you don't need to install drivers. I actually got that to play emulated games, like old Super Nintendo games on my computer. So I'm playing with an Xbox 360 controller on an old SNES game. Not quite right. The D-pad's awful,
Yeah.
but you know.
What game are we playing?
Final Fantasies 4 and 6.
Nice.
But in a randomizer mode, so that every character that joins is random from the entire pool of characters.
And then I guess opening chest, you're like, "Wait, I'm supposed to get this item," and you get like.
You get a potion
cherry.
instead of the weapon that's going to carry you for the rest of the yeah. Forces you to sort of think on the fly.
Oh my god.
Oh, how swag.
Phenomenon.
What's the point if you don't track it?
I know.
Wait, what are you tracking?
Go for Lucio Ball doesn't have the like the rank that you reached. They never had it. I was like, surely they'll have it.
What a one-trick pony, man.
All right, here we go. Our big six stack has found a match. Unfortunately, the game won't start for another 30 seconds from us being able to actually see it. And we will also only be able to see from the blue team's side. We will not be able to switch back and forth and see what the opponent is doing. I suppose this is probably an anti-cheating measure so that you don't have someone in the room with you spectating and then jumping over to the other team side to try to tell you, their team comp and if they're trying to do any flanking maneuvers.
Blue team is trying to gather up their defensive strategy with the heroes that does go for 2 DPS, 2 tanks, and I believe there's 2 healers. Mercy, remember Mercy has not been changed, can get the whole team ult res if necessary. Trying to set up, don't quite know where they're going to set up right now. Usually it's going to be on top of the grocery store gas station. I don't remember what it is. Brick Earls.
One thing you need to note with these microphones is that they're highly directional, and if you're behind it, you're not getting anything in there.
I'm just trying to look at the screen.
I am trying to switch between characters now, and the F keys are just not working. Except F1. F1 is working, but that's the only one.
Oh. So they do decide to set up on top of Big Earls. Winston can jump in and out of that to get the healing and the damage necessary. Orisa, kind of on the low ground, not sure why she's not on top to provide the shield for the team. Round going to start in 3 seconds. We'll find out what the red team's team comp is very, very soon.
Looks like Orisa's here sort of as a really tanky scout.
There's a Genji, the Genjis of both teams. There's a Diva and an enemy Orisa of their own. Then pushing in, the payload now coming across to the bend. This is where the action is going to start. Winston does find a kill off Junkrat, but does get red team does destroy the DPS of North End, and now there is 2 up for the blue team. In a comfortable position right now.
Yeah, looks like the enemy red team has 1 Grandmaster player. It's another 6 stack. Grandmaster's on the McCree, and they do have a double healer comp with the Mercy and the Ana versus our double healer comp of Mercy and Zenyatta. So it looks like both teams actually have fairly stable compositions, although the red team is now down 3 members, so that ends that push on that cart. That cart ain't gonna go anywhere for a few minutes.
I actually did not notice the Grandmaster player on the red team. It'll be interesting if the blue team decides to shut him down right when they see him, because Grandmasters, if playing at the Grandmaster level, can be a pain for any player in quick play matches.
I will say the only reason I know that is because I did hear the team talking about identifying which player is the Grandmaster, so I do think that they are going to at least be aware of it, whether or not they actively try to go super hard into taking him out. Oh, and the enemy Ana goes down. That's a good amount of their DPS, or sorry, sustained healing, but the enemy McCree does get 2 with that High Noon, kind of showing off their skills. Enemy Hanzo jumps in and manages to not get super punished, although getting pulled off the edge there by the Orisa. Unfortunately, the Hanzo the Hanzo takes her down. Unfortunately, still, I can only click through. I cannot use the F keys the way I'm supposed to, except for F1. That's super confusing.
The payload did not move quite as far as the red team would have hoped. Hunter does come out with the Ana and the Mercy beside them, decides to climb up. Genji decides to jump in. The soldier getting in a kind of a rough position, but does take down the Hanzo and survives. 2 kills, 3 kills for the blue team in another comfortable position. McCree by himself does not get pulled in, trying to hunt down the last few players for the red team. Arisa goes down, Ana goes down. Another good hold by the blue team.
That is almost a full team wipe for the blue team. Once again, this cart is not going to be going anywhere.
Genji does get shut down by the McCree, and the double res does come out for the Mercy, which means the enemy Mercy is down. 2 kills from the blue team. Another good hold. Can they follow the stew by cleaning up the rest of the red team?
It looks like they're even able to, they're engaging far enough down that they're able to cut off any of the flanking routes that are normally taken, which means that they're sort of forcing them into this tunnel meat grinder behind the Orisa shield, which is just, they're just able to pump out huge amounts of damage behind that shield.
So looking at the ults, there is 4 ults ready for the blue team, which means if they do another big push, we cannot see the ults, the ult status for the red team. So, but presumably 4 ults will be able to negate most of the ults from the enemy team. The McCree is on fire, have not seen High Noon yet. 2 goes down for the blue team. High Noon does come out, gets 2 more kills. The Winston does come out with the ulti, trying to delay the push of the cards a bit further. Gets shut down, and the blue team needing to regroup and see if they can hold before the card gets to the checkpoint.
Right, it appears that Patches was attempting to trade his life for just a little bit of time to allow his team to res and regroup before the cart got too far pushed forward.
Orisa does jump down by herself, a bit alone on her. There is a flanker off of McCree, half health. But Mercy jumps in, sees McCree, jumps back out, trying to find the McCree in the tunnel. The cart getting dangerously close to the checkpoint. Orisa does get down, the tank does go down. The res is ready for the Mercy for the blue team, but only 1 ready.
The enemy Mercy does get a res off, getting that McCree back up. Our Mercy does get 2 for that price, and the enemy McCree goes down again after the enemy Mercy, which does leave it at 2 down for the red team and everyone up for the blue team, which is going to make this push stall out 2.36 meters away from that checkpoint, and now it's going to be moving back. So this cart can move as far back as the beginning point because it did not reach that checkpoint spot yet.
Now Mercy just now did do a very interesting tech, switch to Battle Mercy to shut down the other Mercy, and she used her res. 2 seconds left. I did not realize that. It is overtime. I will finish my thought later. Mercy is at 40% ult. The enemy team's Mercy did use their res, decides to go for the Mercy first. The Hanzo does use the ult on the card, trying to push players off the payload, but too far away to do any good amount of work. And that is a victory for the blue team. Just to finish my thought, Mercy did use the res to gain invulnerability to survive for the team fights. Don't know if once the patch comes in, if she is going to have that tech more so every 30 seconds. Now looking at the Grandmaster McCree here, Hainu comes out, gets a double kill, and shuts down the Winston here. Now, a good tribute to say that even though there is a Grandmaster on the enemy team, was not enough to carry the rest of the team to victory. Good coordination by the blue team to make sure, even though there is 3 gold medals by the McCree, did not do too much damage and can hold the game before the first checkpoint was taken. Now, for that previous game, for 2 Mercies, really comes down to which Mercy can get the bigger res for those team fights. The point when the red team did push over was when the red team did get a big res. Once again, once the Mercy patch comes in, this will dramatically change the flow of the game. Fighting on the same team, on the same map, I believe there is 1 leaver on the red team, which means there is going to be 1 new player joining the enemy team. But now on the attack team, will be interesting if blue team can gather a new strategy to push through and get the first checkpoint. Now, if we treat this as a real competitive game, all they have to do is get the first point, get lower than a 3.6 meters.
3.63, 3.36, something approximating that.
How to get closer than that, which is not too terribly hard. Will be interesting if they can get the simulated competitive win on this quick play back-to-back match.
A chance to focus.
Can you see the heroes?
Not everyone has picked their heroes yet, and I am still trying to figure out why I cannot just use my F keys to cycle between the heroes like I'm supposed to be able to.
Now it looks like the blue team is going for quite the meta dive com right now, with the Winston and the Diva being 2 tanks being able to have a lot of mobility. The Zenyatta being able to give long range consistent healing, and the Genji being able to dash in and out of combat. The last hero has not been chosen yet. Will be interesting to see which hero gets chosen for the dive comp. The Tracer, Lucio will be a good pick here, although Lucio might be overkill. Soldier, a pretty good pick here since he can run around, does not have the vertical mobility that the rest of the team has in order to make this effective.
And it does appear that the enemy team has a Hanzo that was trying to get a sort of a cheap pick with that scatter arrow early on. We're going to follow this this Diva in because I imagine this Diva is going to be diving in, and we want to be on the front lines for that.
There's an Ursa set up on the cards. The shield going to go down soon. The Ursa not really walking away, decides to stay there right there, but does get a 45 and a healing from the Mercy. Oh, and she does goes down. The Diva almost out of mech, is now out of mech. Though now they have the Winston to really help take most of the damage. Winston does go down to low health. The enemy team has a soldier, not a McCree anymore. Which character is the Grandmaster? Is on the Genji, which can spell disaster if played correctly and played well. Though there's the Winston to shut the Genji down, as well as the Soldier and the Diva to help out there.
And there are 3 on the enemy team down, which just means that there's at least 2 or 3 people pushing this cart. They're going to need to really group up and make some pretty epic holds here if they want to get, if they want to not technically lose the competitive aspect of this match. They might still be able to hold them off of the final point. But again, like you said, if this was a competitive match, if they are able to even get to that first checkpoint, that is technically a competitive mode win.
There is a switch to the Mercy now on the Hanzo. It decides to ignore the Diva. I don't quite know if the other 5-stack is communicating through voice chats. It seems like they aren't really coordinated in their attacks. Now it looks like there is 3 kills from the blue team. The Diva does get slept, and there's the Ana on the backline, but we do get a simulated competitive win. Will be interesting now to see if they get pushed to the final point and win the entire game, entire quick match completely. The Ana always kind of trying to flank, which is an interesting choice. Is the Ana part of the 5-stack, Lucas?
The one who is not is currently playing Roadhog, and the Grandmaster has switched to a Junkrat, trying to go for a more defensively oriented hero here. Seeing if that the explosive radius of all of his bombs and mines might be able to do a little bit more spread out damage. Maybe that can help, although with both an Ana and a Zenyatta, that spread damage is going to need to come in and very quickly to not get just healed up.
5 ults ready for the blue team, can easily push this if necessary, but there is the problem where if a Junkrat all comes out, Jason and Zenyatta cannot do much with his healing because it does not negate damage at all. Looks like the blue team still pushing quite steadily. There is the Winston does get the Mercy, and now the Hanzo by himself is gonna have a tough time defending. Dust goes down, the Roadhog on the high ground, and the Orisa on the high ground decides not to go down for that. Genji with the mobility can catch both of them. Ready gets the Orisa down, and now the Roadhog decides to retreat back into the base.
So this final point is often the hardest one to push. From a game design perspective, they do make the points progressively harder for the attacking team to push. The first one is a fairly easy point to crack, and then the last one is where those final epic stands can be held. I don't know about you, but I have made a couple of 6-minute stands at this final point, trying to hold someone off.
Roadhog trying to kill off the Diva here. Remember, Roadhog can heal while he runs around now. Decides to leave Roadhog around. Needs to keep in mind that there is a Roadhog in the back. Junkrat very effective in this last hold because of the very linear approach of the cart. Does get a pick with the Junkrat Riptire off the tank, the Winston there. Roadhog still behind, trying to get back to the team, but really having a tough time since he does not have a lot of mobility. Still alive, trying to cause trouble from the behind. Red team does get 2 kills, which means they will hold this card for now. Roadhog finally goes down. Blue team trying to regroup. The ult does come out for the blue team. Interesting choice there, since not a lot of the team is regrouped, and might be a mistake to use that ult over there.
I almost feel like that Roadhog was just trying to get killed just to get a trip back home to the rest of his team so they could actually group up.
Roadhog does get 3 kills with that whole hog. Sombra does come out. A pretty good choice, especially since there is a very big health pack near the spawn points. Blue team getting really pushed back and really having a struggle to regroup and get the momentum going again. Getting pushed back to their spawn points. Red team needs to make sure not to overextend too much, otherwise they will have trouble. Diva out of mech, which means they are down 1 tank for now. Soldier with Visor ready. Zenyatta with the healing ulti ready. And it looks like the blue team is regrouped and does get a lot of coordination. Gets a Sombra who decides to jump in, maybe going for a hack there, a big hack there, but does not get it off. The Diva Bomb does come down with a 3 kill, does get a Mercy, which means there is no res available. Getting really steady push towards the end. Red group has, the red team has 1 chance to hold this off with the final push here.
If that Diva Bomb isn't play of the game material, I'm not really sure what is, to be honest here.
The card is now nearing the end of the game. Orisa does comes out with a shield, not quite on the point, which is an interesting choice. Red team does want to really rush to that point, does get a contest there from the Roadhog, a big meat stack that can help, especially with the Mercy heal on there. D.Va gets nano boosted, can put out a lot of damage. Whole Hawk comes out, this only gets 1 kill from Zenyatta. Now, 3 kills from the blue team. Will the red team respawn in time? No, they don't. The blue team gets the win for a second time in a row. Very, very strong. 2 wins from the blue team here. Now let's look at a play of the game. If that was the D.Va that you talked about, let's take a look. It is
It's
from
certainly the
Green
D.Va,
Mage.
but was it that moment? The D.Va did have a couple of moments there that were. See, this is
actually-
after that bomb where she comes back from behind and gets several kills just because there's no one looking behind them to notice what is shotgunning them in the back of the head.
Now that was very effective. I was questioning the choice to go for a D.Va nano boost, but it looks like from a flank, D.Va can output a lot of damage with no reload, and close quarters gets a lot of the damage necessary to win that fight.
Brings a tear to my eye.
I like how it's super intense game with the Grandmaster. Look at these vegetables!
I think that really demonstrates the breadth and depth of the game Overwatch, that you can have both games happening in the same place at roughly the same time.
Now I will say on Dorado, the solo cups that are made in a pyramid shape in the beginning of the game, if you play as McCree or any hit scan, you can knock off the bottom 3 cups and the other 3 cups will be floating mid-air. I found that pretty amusing. Asking my friend who was a game programmer, he says most likely in order to reduce the amount of physics needed to be calculated in the game, most of the objects or most of the object that runs around in the game